Hey, what's up, beautiful people? This is a spiritual bodybuilder, and today I'm going to discuss Chiron Conjunct Ascendant. Now, if you're watching this, you probably have a pretty good understanding and grasp on astrology already. Just to go over the archetype of Chiron real quick, because this is really significant. There's not a whole lot of information out there about Chiron Conjunct Ascendant, which, in my opinion, is one of the very worst or most difficult, I should say, aspects in astrology. Right. So Chiron is a centaur. He lives between Saturn and Uranus. Right. He's the wounded healer. But not only that, he was amongst all the centaurs. He was the one that was noted for his wisdom and his intellect. He's like the medicine man or medicine woman in all of us. Yet he was born into chaos, and he kind of got fucked in every way possible growing up, right? So after all that happening, though, he learned to accept what he was, and he took care of others. In fact, he used all the gods and the kings used to send their apprentices to Chiron to learn medicine and learn how to heal themselves well as others. But Chiron had this issue where he could heal everybody else, but he couldn't heal himself. It was that unhealable wound that's within us all, right? Some people feel it more than others. And if you have Chiron conjunct your ascendant, I'd say within a 10-degree orb, which is within 10 degrees on either side of your ascendant, then you know this energy way better than most. All right, my Chiron is conjunct my ascendant. It's about an 8-degree orb, but it's still incredibly powerful. And because I understand how it feels, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I feel that I've gotten to that point where I've overcome that deep wound. Overcome's the wrong word. It's more like I've transmuted the energy within myself to accept it. A lot of times when we have fears and we have these situations like this going on, we feel just that density of energy within us that makes us feel heavy, or we're not worth it, or we don't have the energy to keep going, or we don't have the capacity or the resources to get something done that we want to get done in our life. And Chiron conjunct the ascendant, we have a very powerful feeling of destiny. Like we have a purpose in this world, because we do, right? Not many, certain people are chosen with this. Of course, if you are watching this, you believe in astrology, then you most likely believe that, in reincarnation, all right? And when we come into this particular incarnation, we make an agreement before we come into this life. Essentially, that's what astrology is. It's the layout of stars when you're born, and identifies your soul mission in this life. And that just goes so deep. But when someone is incarnated into this life with Chiron conjunct the ascendant, you come into chaos. Chances are you had complications during birth. Maybe you got stuck in the NICU, or you had a fever. I was jaundiced. I had a fever, and I had double hernia, and I had some kind of bacterial infection. I was in the little case, being segregated from my mother for, I think, 2 weeks, which, that amount of time away from, your mother, as we know now, is detrimental to, an infant's ability to bond, right? It creates attachment issues. So chances are that you grew up and you got bullied, right? You got made fun of, or you felt abandoned and ashamed of yourself in some way. Abandonment, feeling guilt, feeling shame, inadequate. Those are all themes of this Chironic energy. And generally speaking, it really creates a disaster piece in life growing up. And we go into full-blown, hibernation or a fracture mode, right? Our soul gets completely fractured because all these different aspects of ourself are basically not, we're not accepted by the people we love, or that are supposed to love us, or even when it comes to business, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to whatever, whatever's going on in life, really. Because it's a feeling we have within ourselves, and the vibration is so strong, because a conjunction means that the two energies are blended in together, right? So your ascendant is how you bring yourself out to the world. I'm an Aries ascendant. So I'm like, you know, cardinal sign, like go get it done, very impulsive. So the Chiron energy comes in and it adds a depth of pain to that shadow side of the ascendant archetype, right? So Aries is the warrior, right? So we have a wounded, healing warrior. However, you know, any other sign, you know, just apply the parts of the archetype in that sign with the Chiron energy, and just shame. Shame is a big theme in the Chiron pain scale, and shame goes very deep. It's incredibly dysfunctional. A lot of people with Chiron conjunct the ascendant will have addiction issues or depression issues. You know, you'll have very dysfunctional relationships until, now this doesn't last forever, all right? It forces us to go through this very deep, intense journey. We have to dig deeper than just about everybody else, okay? Because that wound within us, it's at our core, it's at the very center. And to get to that center, you know, we go through many years of creating and building this conditioning. And at that young in age, generally speaking, at some point, something's gonna happen, and it's gonna just make that conditioning completely to a complete disaster. Some kind of extreme trauma is going to happen. That's what we go through. But that is what is meant to happen, because when we're forced to dig that deep, then we're then through processing those energies, we come out the other side and we can experience the polarity to that. Because human beings, you know, we learn through contrast. So in order to experience love, we have to know pain. And the level and depth of pain you experience will be equivalent to the level and depth of love that you experience, right? So we can love very intensely, but we can also get attached really easy, and we have to watch out for that. Attachment is no joke, and attachment is ego-driven. So if we stay, basically the process of dissolving the ego is the path of the wounded healer. And if it is conjunct the ascendant, then that wound, it's at your core. It's at who you are, how you bring yourself out to the world. There's no hiding it. People can feel the energy from around you. So if you're in a good mood, you're gonna light the place up. If you're in a bad mood, forget about it. And chances are you probably like to isolate yourself if you're in a bad mood. Because you feel so shitty, you don't want to be around other people. You don't want to infect them, right? So it's very important for Chiron conjunct the ascendant to take their personal care, their care towards their beingness, right? Self-care is most important. Be selfish, because we're no good to anybody else unless we're good to ourselves, right? So that selfishness is critical, and it's critical not to judge, not to blame, in order to be able to work through that shame and work through that guilt and work through that pain, so we can come out the other side. And once we come out the other side, we're unfuckwittable, okay? But it's a journey that not many people will ever understand, because it is such a dramatically difficult placement. Now, from my experience with clients and with people, friends, family, there are 4 placements, ironically, that are all very difficult. And from what I've seen, the Chiron conjunct the ascendant is the worst. But you have Chiron in the 4th house, all right, which usually means it was a really shitty childhood, bad relationships with the mother, and it's a big theme on relationships, and self-nurturing is very difficult. 7th house, you'll probably have some kind of trauma that happens to someone that you really love, like a loved one unexpectedly dies, or commits suicide, or goes to prison for, you know, a long time, but it's going to have to do with your relationships, not you. But you're going to hold that pain because you're going to have this vision of the life that you really want, and it's all coming to you, and then bam, it's going to fall apart, and you're going to have to work through that. But when you work through that, you're going to come to see that your love got so much stronger for yourself, and it's going to influence other people. This energy is to help the world, it's to help humanity. It's not for us. But when we learn to love ourselves, that's when we learn to teach, like through a vibration, and we teach others, right? So that's what you get to look forward to with that. Now, the 10th house is actually, from what I've seen, a very good placement. And but all four of these, they're all square to each other. And especially if you have any, like Sun, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, well, really any planet conjunct Chiron, those energies are going to blend. It's going to make it that much more difficult. So you can see, look up on your birth chart and see where Chiron is and see if it aspects any other planets. And, you know, and if you'd like to message me, I'd be happy to work with you and talk more about it and how that Chironic energy is influencing you. But back to Chiron Ascendant. So we work through our shame. We work through our guilt. We work through our pain, right? We are not able to build a path that's already been taken. We are designed, because we have the Uranus energy. Chiron is like a gateway from Saturn to Uranus, right? So Saturn is structure, it's discipline, it's time, it's space. Uranus is the unexpected, it's explosion, it's genius, it's intelligence, it's the next level, it's the ascended masters, new world. So Chiron is a bridge between Saturn and Uranus. So they're two very contrasting energies, and Chiron is just learning the Chironic energy is finding that balance in that tug of war, learning how to let it flow through you instead of. Usually we get attached to it, we get hit with it, and we want to figure it out what it is. Oh my God, what is this feeling? What's going on in my beingness? What's going on? And it could be good or bad. We can idolize people, right? Oh my God, it's going to be amazing, mind blown, and it's going to change my life. Or, you know, and then that person you idolize completely fuck you over, right? We don't want to get attached to the good or the bad. We want to stay neutral. In order to stay neutral vibrationally, we have to learn to take those energetic hits that come into us, because Chiron conjunct the Ascendant, very, very empathic. You feel energy like crazy, right? And a lot of it, you feel all the dark energy. You feel the darkness because it's in a base of fear in the form of shame, right? So that fear-based energy it's like a sonar, you know, bleep it out 24/7. And you'll invite things into that dysfunctional sonar, and you won't understand why. It won't make any sense. You know what? You're never going to figure it out. The point is to let it go, right? Just let it go and accept it. Acceptance is the key, okay? So you make it through all this stuff, you accept it, you let it go, then it goes from really bad to really good. And deep down, you know, you have this knowing inside you that it's going to get there. You maybe even think, maybe not in this lifetime, you know, like I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to get to that place when I'm way down here. Once we get out of that place within ourselves, we've worked through so much shit, right? We've gone all the way to the core. Most people go 5, 10, maybe even 15 layers down. We go hundreds of layers down. Hundreds. I know I have. And it still never stops, you know, but once that vibration changes, boom, because we can feel the negative vibration so strongly, we can feel the positive vibration just as strong. And that's why we are also healers. We are here to transform this world. We are light workers. We are star seeds for sure. Okay? So we do have a mission here, and our mission is to take that pain, transmute it, and teach the world that the world doesn't have to live in pain, because other people may feel pain, but they don't feel it as deeply as we do in our being. And most people will never understand that, and that's okay, because when we're hurt, we want other people to understand it. Like, oh my God, you don't know what this feels like, right? And people won't understand. They'll never know. They'll never get it, but that's okay, because we make it. And once you make it there, it's such a humbling experience. It's peaceful. And we haven't known peace in our entire life, right? But once you find that peace, like, and it becomes your default. It's like when that negative energy comes, you're like, oh, nope, no thanks. And and you're able to deflect. Your aura becomes so powerful and you're unfuckwithable. So please keep that in mind. You know, especially right now with all the change going on and the raising vibration with all these transits, it's nuts. We are growing at the fastest rate probably ever in humanity, or recorded humanity anyways. And we are being called to step up and to raise our vibration and to listen to source, to listen to that feeling, that higher self inside, and let it guide us. So if you ever feel confusion, if you ever feel like unsure, if you're always in your head about stuff, you need to silence your mind. The way you do that is stillness, floating. Sound baths are amazing. Plant medicine, meditation, yoga, all these things that are really getting a lot of notoriety. It's because it works. And especially for us, we need some form of practice on a consistent basis that will quiet our minds. And it's a very difficult thing to do, especially when it's just so powerful. That's why we put so much work in it, because we have to. That whole 10,000 hour rule, you become a master of yourself. And when you do, you will manifest everything that you want in your life. I promise you that. Whew. All right. So thank you for watching this video. And please, if you resonate with it, like, share, and subscribe. And if you would like a reading from me, book a session, go to www.trinityfitnessastrology.com. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.